So episode 1 of Heavenly Delusion came out yesterday, and this is a really unique approach to anime because we don't really see a whole lot of anime with an apocalyptic setting, and especially this style of storytelling with two different sets of characters, two different perspectives. And I feel like this anime's release has really flown under the radar, and it may have to do with it being a Disney Plus exclusive. But before we get into that, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for similar content in the future. Let's get straight into it. So this anime opens up with our perspective into this school facility, and it's kind of similar to the Promised Neverland situation where a bunch of children, teens, definitely not adults, but younger people in general, are enclosed in this school facility, this playground, this artificial center that is not the real world. And we're shown our perspective into Tokyo, this blonde-haired character that is having these weird disturbances, as in when they are taking a test in the class that was a pop quiz, by the way, nobody was aware of it. One of the questions was, do you want to go outside of the outside, or something similar to that? And this strikes our character as something that is confusing and mysterious, because outside of the outside, or outside, what is outside? This character has no idea what outside is. You have to keep in mind, these people are trapped in this school facility. These children are trapped in the school facility. So that's how this anime opens up. So straight off the bat, we're left in this mysterious situation where we don't really know what happened, and as that's happening, we get a cut straight to this different set of characters, and these characters are Kiriko and Maru. And what these characters are essentially doing is traversing this wasteland, this apocalyptic environment where everyone is kind of dead. I mean, we see straight off from the bat, they go into this locked house that is supposed to be a previous rich person, and there's a bunch of belongings there, such as a toilet and toilet paper and a toothbrush, things that are extremely valuable in the current settings. And we see this gloomy view into what happened to the previous society of people. We see that they died either from starvation or due to these mysterious, powerful creatures called man-eaters we later learn about. But these two characters are very, very friendly with each other. They call each other brother and sister. I mean, it seems like they have this close relationship. We later find out that Kiriko is Maru's bodyguard, so that makes sense as to why they're so close, and it's just the two pair of them. One is a male, one is a female, and obviously there's some hints of there being some romantic interest there, obviously. I mean, that's gonna happen when you have a male and a female together, especially in an apocalyptic setting. Now after this, they're adventuring around looking for this place called Heaven. What is Heaven? What is Heaven? That's what they're looking for, this place called Heaven. We're not given a reason as to why they are looking for this place just yet, but as they were looking for this place, they unfortunately ran into this group of goons. And I think we all know how this is going to go, because in the beginning of any anime, whenever one of the main characters run into any sort of goons, I mean, this is just a period for them to flex, really. They're not in any sort of danger. It is just time for them to flex, and that is what happens. There was this shimmy around of kind of faking of the gun that they had, and someone questioned whether or not it was a real gun or something like that, which, let's be honest right here, okay? If someone's pointing a gun at you and they're threatening to shoot you, and the gun looks at least somewhat real, it doesn't have a red tip, even if it has a red tip, bro, it's like, do you really want to get shot? Like, this is not something you want to be questioning, right? This is some next level stupidity here. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? This is a gun. We don't need to charge somebody with a gun and find out. One of you is going to get taken out, if not all of you. We don't want to play this game. So initially they backed off, but some guy questioned whether or not the gun they had was real because it looked a little bit mysterious. So they rushed them, and Kiriko starts climbing the fence as Maru displays this unnatural martial art prowess. I mean, this guy is a superhuman straight off the bat. He just straight up beat up people with pipes, with a lead pipe in his hand, and they had knives coming at him. He was bobbing and weaving. He was beating them up. I mean, this guy truly has some skills, to say the least. So he dispatches them, and then one of the guys is coming towards them, and Kiriko grabs out that gun, points it at this telephone pole, and shoots the telephone pole, and God damn, this is the most powerful gun you have ever seen. It shot a plasma beam and knocked that pole right down. It made the guy who questioned that gun think twice about his life. In fact, it messed them up so bad mentally that they became their tour guides for the city. They led them to their private base, and in fact, he filled up the battery for that gun, right? It turned them into their mistresses, to their maids. That's how bad that gun is. But they get that gun charged up and they part way with these these goons. They part way away from them. And then we cut back to Tokyo. And this is inside the enclosed school ground once again. We see this character Mimihime come up to Tokyo and essentially tell him about this dream that she's been having about going outside of the outside. And one of the people that helped her get outside of the outside was someone who looked like Tokyo, and it just happens to be that Maru kind of looks like Tokyo. I wonder what's gonna happen. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, that happens, and then we see this scene of some guy who wants to play ball in the school as well, and these people apparently have superhuman abilities too, because this guy just jumps off like a 10-story drop and does some flips and stuff, something no human can do, as if with no trouble he does all this stuff. I mean, this guy's a specimen to say the least. And then we see Tokyo in the middle of the night kind of wandering out into this park Greenland, and he's questioning, what is the outside of the outside? Because I mean, you have to imagine here, this is someone who has never actually gone outside and been enclosed in this, and all he sees is stone walls keeping him trapped in this school facility. So he's really questioning, what is the outside of the outside? This opens up some very interesting ideas for him, and as he's doing that, we get that mastermind come out, the absolute mastermind. Now, if you want to make an anime villain, make it look like this, because this is a tell for an anime villain. We got an old granny coming out in a wheelchair with her 2 assistants behind her. She got the evil granny face, and she's questioning him, what are you doing out this late? Do you need your medicine to go to sleep? And he's like, no, is there an outside of the outside? And the 2 assistants are kind of like, oh, what happened? And she's like, yes, there is an outside of the outside. Who told you this? He says, Mimihime. And we later find out more of the dialogue is that the outside world is this desolated place with these crazy creatures, and we just happen to see a perspective into this as we switch back into Maru and Kiriko. Now they arrive at this inn. Now we have to keep in mind here once again, this is a desolated, it looks like kind of Japan. It's definitely Japan, but I don't know what city they're in exactly. Japan area, maybe rural Japan, and they find this inn has a shopkeeper, right? This person all alone. Now immediately you'd think, especially these people have grown up. They've basically grown up in this desolate, abandoned, apocalyptic world. You think they'd be a little bit cautious about the people they interact with, considering there's probably thieves and scavengers, people trying to take advantage of the situations. But no, they're just like, yeah, this lady must be nice, let's stay here for the night. I was kind of baffled that they just so willingly went into this, because I mean, straight off the bat from the scenes, we see her carrying a gun or whatever, and she already looks kind of conspicuous to say the least. But they end up staying here. She has a hot tub or whatever, has all these things to take care of their bodies or whatever. And we see this scene, right? And it's important to keep in mind, because we do get the Kiriko's age. She says she's 18 or 20, but she's not good with numbers. But we have at least confirmed she is above 18. So that's the most important part. So she's looking in the mirror naked, and she has these weird kind of scars and lacerations on her body that shows maybe she was operated on in some way, but she's naked looking at the mirror, and then she kind of just leans into the mirror and is like trying to like kiss herself. And as she's about to kiss herself, the shopkeeper comes in and freaks her out, and she's all like crazy, or she's all spooked and trying to rationalize what she was doing. But I mean, what was she really doing here? I mean, I enjoyed the scene, trust me. This scene was definitely a pleasure to the eyes, to say the least. But yeah, that happened. They go into this quick hot tub scene where they clean up, blah, blah, blah. And then the shopkeeper is making some food. And this is where things get interesting. This is where this devious, I say conspicuous shopkeeper kind of comes out, because she gives some tells that maybe she is not so much of a nice person, to say the least, or at least a suspicious kind of, maybe this person has something they're hiding, right? So when she's making dinner, they start talking about these man-eaters, these Hirako as they call them. And this is where the lady starts acting a little bit weird, as if maybe she has something to do with it. But she says that this man-eater comes out at night, so essentially do not go outside at night. And they're basically saying, you know, we can kill this thing, so we'll kill it for you. And she's against it, and she's making dinner, and she gets so preoccupied by what they're talking about, she goes off somewhere that, you know, the pan starts boiling over the top. And I don't know how they didn't see this. I feel like it'd be really obvious if something was boiling over the top. No reaction at all. But maybe there's something a little bit wrong with this lady. So we see them eating, and then it looks like they're about to have an important conversation, and the shop owner basically tells them, you know, I know you guys grew up in this apocalyptic environment, and this is made out to be something very serious, by the way. And it looks like you guys are close, but I just want to let you know that, you know, reproducing between two people who are brother and sister is not something that is going to give you a favorable outcome, because you could have a disabled child, etc. I mean, we all know what happens with incest. So she was explaining that to them because they call each other brother and sister. And they were freaked out because obviously they're not really brother and sister, and they're not dating. So this kind of spooked them. Guess kind of got them preoccupied for what was about to happen. And so they were eating. After all this, Kiriko says something that's insensitive towards Maru, blah, blah, blah. They go to sleep, and we get this scene at the end of the monster, this big bird monster pulling up at this patio door, and we see the owner with a gun. And that's basically where the episode ends, right? We just get this view into this creepy looking quadruple eye, disgusting monster. Looks like some alien of some sort. I mean, it's truly something of nightmares. I mean, this thing was horrifying, to say the least. So I'd say a decent opening to this new series. And one thing I noticed about this series is, honestly, it didn't have as much hype behind it as I thought it would have, right? I thought this series would have a lot of hype here because, you know, this is a well-made series. All the graphics, all the visuals are top notch. Basically, the studio Production IG has done a really good job with this series. I mean, the environment is truly engaging. It gives me a Mushoku Tensei type of feel, really, with how enwrapping, how engulfing, and how fitting the environment and visuals are for the series. So this series honestly took me a little bit by surprise. I didn't think it would be so well produced. It's kind of unfortunate it's on a platform like Disney Plus instead of Crunchyroll, because I feel like it would have been a lot bigger if it was on Crunchyroll, 100%. But tell me what you think about Heavenly Delusion. Have you watched the first episode? Does the series sound interesting? Let me know in the comments below. It looks like it's going to shape out to be a very decent series, to say the least. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for similar content in the future. I will see you in the next video.